I'm about to do the electronics install for my ultralight FPV-30. I've already, see this little piece here, this control arm, which goes on the servo. I've had to widen one of the holes on it to fit the control arm, the control rod, and these control rods that I use are just these little safety flags. They're not safety flags, they're marker flags for pipes and things that I buy from Home Depot. So okay, I've widened out one of those, and I'll show you how I widen out the other one. I could just drill the hole wider, but being a little bit lazy, I actually use this reaming tool that I got from HobbyKing. Come on! Why does nothing ever come out of these bags? Really? Okay. So here we go. I've got the tool, and I just basically spin it in the hole until the hole's big enough. I'm doing this on the second hole from the outside edge. And I've done this same thing with the control horns themselves to make sure that the control rod will fit through it. So just a couple turns each way and test. Doesn't fit. Just need a little bit more. Like I said, I could drill these, but I'm lazy and this tool is nice and easy to use. There we go. So I've got these, got these, and I've got these. It's time to set up our electronics. So I'm going to fasten my servos on this way. I'm going to make, because these are relatively small, these the wires, I'm going to have to make this as close to center as possible for both of them, which means I'm going to have to put the control horns pretty much there and there. So I'm just going to cut a little slit through. Shove this up through like so. Now that's not quite as far forward as you'd ideally like it to be, but just for a little added strength I have it just a little bit back. Usually you'd like it so that these holes are right over your joint, but that puts it just a little bit close in my opinion for strength. There we go, and you notice the nice yellow color matches, whoa, the yellow on the bottom. So I'll just put a piece of tape over top of those. Here on the back now. I should glue that. I'm going to put just a little dab of Elmer's. And then I'm going to tape the back of those. Ah, here it is. So let me just turn that around so you can see it. So that's the part that's going to be sticking now. This Elmer's Ultimate doesn't stick as well to plastic as some other glues. Okay. How handy that I have this here. But it does stick well to foam. I think the ideal thing to use here would be hot glue for sticking this plastic to the foam and to the other plastic. But I'm going to put a piece of tape underneath anyway, so it's not going to be a problem. put some tape if I can find the seam. Nice generous piece of tape, so I have lots of strength back here. And right over. Push that down as much as I can. Nice piece of tape. Get into the seam, work on the back, and I'll cut the other side of that off. Now between the glue, the Gorilla Glue and that tape, that should hold. Most of the stress on that's going to be when you're pulling back on the stick to go vertical. And that would mean we'd have to pull this bottom piece right straight through the wing for it to come off, so I'm not too concerned. So there we go. It's taped. Use my handy knife to cut the extra off. Cut the extra off. So there we go. Control horns are in. Next up, we need these. Before I do that, I want to center them. So I take my battery, I take an ESC, I'm going to try with this one. So I'll plug the ESC into the power side here, plug my battery in there, see how that lights up. I'll plug this into the control side. I'll do two things. I'll just let it go for a bit, make sure that that's actually spinning. It is. And I'll put it on neutral. So now I know it's centered. So while it's centered, I look at how I'm going to put this on, which is this way. And I try and get this as close to up and down as I can. Just like so. That's one, and that'll be this side. I keep on looking over to see how my other wings are done. So I keep the orientation of these always the same. That's just on neutral, we'll just leave it there. That way I can use one setting on my remote for all my wings. I don't have to add a new setting for each of them. Now, for special ones, like the really fast one, if I want different controls, different expo or different dual rates or anything like that set. I should probably have left that connected. Okay, I'll just throw that over there. Okay, so both of these are ready to go on. Let's see if I can peel the sticker off. Because if you don't peel this sticker off, if you're sticking it directly onto the packing tape, eventually what's going to happen is your servo is going to come off and your sticker is going to be stuck to your plane. So there we go. I'll just beat the rush and get that done ahead of time. So these are going to sit like that. I don't put those on yet because I have to bend my control rods first. Now these look a little long. I'll bend the first side and then I'll decide on the second one. I'm using a Z bend tool for this. Makes nice crisp bends. So there, straight, and we can see if I keep that nestled up there as far as I can now, and then move it back a little because I like to have a little bit to play with. So I'm going to cut this off about here. I'll cut a little more off. There we go. I'm going to use my Z-bend tool. And there we go. There's one of them. Now I could fasten that one on right now. As a matter of fact, I think I will. So I'll show you how I do this. Get a little bit of double-sided carpet tape. Cut it to the width of a servo. Cut it to the length of the servo. And stick it to the what will be the bottom of the servo. Make sure it's stuck on there really, really good. Now you heard that servo moved, right? So sometimes if there's no power to them, it's pretty easy to move them around. So I'm going to once again put my servo tester, plug it in, set it to neutral, and I'll actually fasten this while it's set to neutral. Pick off the second side of that double-sided tape. And when I do this, I want to make sure I lay it down right when this is level. Oh, wow, that was a mistake. Let's try that again, this time without the bumbling Three Stooges act. Okay, I think that's pretty good. So I might leave a little weight on that overnight tonight, but for now, if I put it back to manual, see, I got servo action. And I'll do the same thing with this one, just to make sure it doesn't move. So I'd bend. Everything up. Push it down, push it down, push it down. And that is the hard part. So if we plug both of these in, these are Hextronic HXT500. Look at that thing of beauty. Servos, and the wires on them are really short, so it's really kind of forcing my hand where I'm putting things. But that now I've got the ESC here. It's a very small ESC. Hook that up to the battery, or to battery, wow, to the motor. Now, I mean, there's a 50-50 chance that the motor will be spinning in the wrong direction, but I can correct that if I have to. Not quite sure, maybe I'll kind of play this game with it and then tape down those wires, because those wires are a little long. I can either do that or I can double them up here on the side. So I'm going to try it that way. And again, for the ESC, at least to start, because we don't even know if this is going to fly yet, We suspect it will, but we don't know for sure. So I just little double-sided carpet tape for the ESC. To fasten it down. I'll just kind of snug him right there nicely, and if you guys will bear with me for a couple seconds, I'm going to find this really hard to believe, but all I can find is a 6-channel receiver. I couldn't find a 3-channel. So I'm going to use a 6-channel for now. Channel 3 will be throttle, and we'll find out which is which. I think I cross these over like so. Oh, that's even backwards. Now I may need to bind, this receiver was bound to something. I don't know if it's bound to what I want. So I need a little bit of green tape there, but we don't care about that for now. I'm going to try and bind the radio. Or at least let's see if the radio is already bound. Now move the motor back. Just a little bit here. I don't know what the best point of view is. So let's turn this on. I'm going to select my right model. So select wing. Alright. This probably isn't, this battery's probably bigger than I want to end up using, but let's just see. Well, it's not bound to that radio. That's fine, we can correct that. I simply remove this, grab a bind, oh, there's a bind plug right there. Boot her up, she's flashing, turn that off, press the back, turn it on, that's now bound. Now unplug and do the bind button. Plug the servo back in. Okay, turn the radio on. Make sure the throttle's off. Power up. Okay, what do we have? We've got nothing. What have you done, John? You bound it. Whoa! Dummy. Perhaps I should wear my glasses. I thought that was weird that I had to unplug something to put the bind plug in. Let's see. Now that I've got channel 1, 2, and 3 in the right spots, radio's on. Well, that sounds better. Cool. Up, down, left, right, on, right, left. Servos are working. Motor spinning backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that probably is right. Let me just verify this. Oh yeah. Well, I've got a plane at this point, which is pretty much ready to fly. All I have to do, well, disconnect this. I'll take that. I'll use a little bit of green tape. Get that there. None of these wires can hit the motor. That one's close. So I should just fasten those down a little bit. And a strip of Velcro here for the battery, and we're good to go. So I'm going to cancel this right now, and I think I'm going to see if I can go fly before it gets dark. Fly around the park. So with any luck, we'll have a maiden included with the build video, at least a short one. Alright, take it easy.